I've cheated on one of my exes once before, and every day I lived through that trauma. I lived through how I might have made that other person feel. And I try my hardest to not repeat the same mistake that I made last time to my husband. That right there is an example of oversharing. So today we're going to be talking about the major difference between being honest with your partner versus oversharing and what that looks like. I talked a little bit about it in my last video, debunking marriage myths, the difference between oversharing and being honest. If you want to go watch that, you can. But today we're just going to be breaking down what really is oversharing and what is honesty. Obviously, when you're in a relationship, you want to be forthright, you want to be honest, you want to share those things. Even things like the example I just gave, you want to make sure you share those things. But what differentiates being honest and oversharing is the timing, the intention, and the respective boundaries you have for your partner. Using the example that I just gave, instead of saying what I just said, and this is not a real example, by the way, you guys, I've never cheated. My husband was my first boyfriend. Okay. So instead of saying what I just said, I would say something along the lines of, I've done things in my past that I'm not very proud of. One of those things being that I cheated on my ex. I'm not the same person that I was, but I wanted to share this with you because I don't want you to think that I'm being dishonest with you about my past. I just want you to know that I have done some things that I'm not proud of. Now, that right there is an example of being transparent and being honest, but not oversharing to give too many details. So let's talk about the differences. So when you're honest with someone, right, you do it in the right timing. You're obviously not going to share that you cheated with your ex at your anniversary at a dinner table. That's just not right. You want to make sure that the timing that you do share information is the right timing for you and the person, as well as in the right setting as well. These conversations should not be had in public. Oversharing is often shared at inappropriate times, often at random, and sometimes it can take up way too much time. So much so that it almost feels like you're dumping or trauma dumping on your partner. When you want to share information that might be overwhelming or that may be of your past, you want to make sure that you're sharing it with the right intention as well. When you share the information, you should want to share based off of you trying to build trust with your partner and to obviously be transparent. That's not something you want to hide. It also serves as an opportunity for you to lean on support. Most of the time, it's just you venting without really looking for support, but just wanting to release how you feel. It's almost a way of you just alleviating your guilt or the shame that you feel about something. And from the Christian perspective, obviously there are things that we go through in our life that we want to share with our partner. But for the whole of it, if we are struggling with our day, our first response should obviously be to go to God in prayer about it. If we have a thought that just was crazy, obviously you want to go to God in prayer about it. And then you can obviously tell your partner or your husband, your wife, hey, I had this crazy thought. Just keep me